Hello, everybody. It's RPG Grandma. Long time no see. I know I've been absent from the video content creating. So let's pick up a little bit with Star Frontiers because I know I have to continue where a bunch of things that I started. So, setting for Star Frontiers. What is it? Well, the basic setting is that the humans, the Arzarians, the Dralicides, and the Rusks all basically got lost in space, more or less, with the possibly with the Arzarians actually being indigenous from the area. So maybe not lost in space, and ending up in this area of space called Frontier, the Frontier. Now, for whatever reason, mainly dust clouds in space, they cannot get back to their original homeworlds, apparently, and the original homeworlds can't send more help. Every so now and then, a colony ship pops up from someplace, and they have to figure out what to do with the folks. I base that on the little adventure books, choose your own adventure books. There was like, I think, one for Star Frontiers. Now, what makes the setting different than, say, Traveler? Part of it's how the ships work. The majority of the ships in Star Frontiers only have gravity when they're accelerating and decelerating, for example. Even though you'll find plenty of ships that were designed on the wrong layout in the game. And you'll find that some of the creators thought they had anti-gravity for the ships when that's not a thing in the game at all. Different DMs have introduced it, to the game. Usually it's something that an alien species has, or maybe the government only has access to it, that kind of thing. So the majority of these ships have gravity only when they're decelerating or accelerating. So they have a big space where there's no gravity. That's one of the things that makes the game a bit different and gives you something to think about as a DM, how you're going to design ships, that kind of thing. Also, how the ships jump. They hit a speed, which, by the way, comets and stuff can hit, and that slips them into this hyperspace, and then that's how they jump. So there's been lots of debates about how that works. I did some research, and I think it's a holdover from Star Probe and Star Empires, which requires a whole video on how Nighthawks, how Star Frontiers space flight is related to these two other games and what's going on there. But that's one of the differences. Most of us have come to the conclusion that there has to be some kind of hyperspace drive on the ships. And then all you got to know is that, the astronavigator does their thing and the ship just automatically jumps when it hits that speed. But if you go with a hyperspace drive, which most of us have done, if that drive's damaged, the ship can't jump. Okay. The tech is technologically lower in some ways than current modern tech. It tends to be more on the analog side. And again, this has to do with when the game was made. Some people have come up with reasons why the computers take up a whole building, why very few people own a personal computer, because they're so big. Why there would be avoiding the kind of modern technology we have in certain areas, but in other areas seem to have. Like they do have watches that do a whole bunch of stuff, and you could actually expand that technology to do more now. And a lot of people have updated their tech. So technologically, the society is a bit different. And it's up to you as the game master to decide how much you're going to change that or how much you're going to keep it retro. Okay. Now, when we get into things like what's the government's like, things like that, they have a federation of planets. It's really a confederation. There is a difference, but they call it a federation in the game, but it's actually a confederation. And that seems to have formed over a period of time, first because of pirate threats, pirates, and then because of the Sathar, which is the evil race. So, in a nutshell, that's the setting. Got a bunch of people lost in space together, trying to survive from 4 different cultures that colonize different planets. Each planet has its own kind of society. So even if the planet is a human colony, predominantly human, that society might look different than the other human planet a couple systems over. Something else to keep in mind. There are some no-go planets. Various reasons for that have been suggested. And the game, of course, has changed over a period of time, and technology was, in fact, introduced, including the BitBap machine, which is a transporter. Most game masters don't use that. And that was, with Zebulon's Guide, it had a heavy sort of infusion of ideas from Gamma World, which I'm okay with. And other races and stuff, and some of them are quite fun. Some of them are a little bit head scratchers. How do you explain this or that? And technology, and it's up to you as a game master, no matter what kind of game you're playing anyway, to decide what things are going to be in the game and easily available, or what's going to be like a rare item out in the universe. You have corporations which run like governments. You have government-controlled planets. You have mining planets. You have all the reasons people would go out and explore space to make money. Smuggling, piracy, working for the government, working for there's a star law, defending the space, known space from hostile people, looking for new minerals, exploring planets, what's on them, hunting down pirates, being a pirate. All that stuff is completely PCs can do. They can be the good guys, they can be the bad guys, they can be your ambiguous sort of people, which is probably a good place for them to be. Though it's clear when they wrote the game they were thinking the kids playing heroic, good guys. But hey, it's modern. And in a nutshell, that's the setting. Now, how you explain where the humans came from, how do you explain where the Yarzarians came from, the Rusks, and it's presented as everybody's a happy camper, but when you actually start reading the modules and things that were made for the game, you quickly discover that it wasn't always happy land. There's a Rusk colony that the humans took over, apparently by force. The Rusks are still there, and the Rusks now get along with the humans. But things didn't go right on this little mining colony. So you can infer all kinds of stuff that may have happened in the game, even if it's not in one of the game's timelines. And that brings us to time. Time is different in the game. And not all the creators for modules clued into that, and it created some problems as well. But in a nutshell, that's it. Evil Sathar, they seem to be xenophobic, want to kill everybody. Not quite, though. And the 4 races that ended up there lost in space and can't seem to figure out how to get home or even talk to home. That is the setting in a nutshell. Individual governments and planets need to be handled as individual episodes because they are that different and unique from each other. Anyway, everybody, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.